We are back for another video, and in this one I'm going to talk about the F4. Now, I've had this Nikon F4 for 2 years, I think, and I'm selling it. And I think I want to just make this video to talk about why, my reasons behind that decision. It did not come lightly, I'll be honest. I think ultimately the thing that set this camera apart from all of the other ones that I own is that I never really bought this as a camera. I bought this more as an investment to sell at some point. I had this kind of thought that like at some point maybe that the F4 would take on the same role that the F3 does now, where it's this insanely popular camera that everybody wants. It does not have that role still. People don't really like these as much, and I'm sure people out there who know the F4, who've shot with one, love them. I think they're great, but they just don't have that same appeal that the F3 does. I think that's for a number of reasons. I think it does kind of fall prey to the look of it. It doesn't look like a film camera all the time. It has a lot of clunky edges to it. It's massive. Even with a smaller lens on, like I'll take this off, it's still a pretty big and bulky system. I also think that it's kind of in that weird state of, it's not quite a Nikon F5 or an F6, but it's kind of wanting to be priced in that same category. So it has slower autofocus, it still has some manual things to it, but it's also still kind of a auto camera. It's in a weird state. And so I think for that reason, a lot of people don't know what to do with it necessarily. And I just think it doesn't have as much appeal as something like a just F3 does, where it's this like renowned professional use case camera, or the F2 or the F, where people know it, it has an identity. The F4, I think for certain people, they do have that same identity for it, but ultimately it kind of, again, falls victim to just being in this weird flux. That being said, I fucking love this thing. I really do. And it does pain me to see it go, because I've shot a lot of great pictures with it, I think, at least pictures that evoke a certain feeling out of me that I probably could have gotten with another camera, granted, but I didn't. I took them with this. And so I have this relationship with this camera that I don't with other cameras, because I wanted to get the most out of it. And I feel like I did. So I feel like this is another one of those situations where I'm selling it at a point where I've done just about everything I can with this particular system, and I'm ready to pass it on to the next user, to the next owner, and hopefully give them the most out of it. Now, for you watching, as I'm selling this, why would I sell you on an F4? A number of reasons. One, I think if you've got bigger hands like me, like this is the perfect camera for you. There's enough to grip onto. It is very robust. The build quality is phenomenal. I do think the style is a little bit clunky for what it is, but I do think it has a bit of appeal to it regardless. I don't think it falls victim to other similar clunky cameras such as the Maxim 7000, because this has a bit more roundness to it. There's a bit more care put into the overall design. I think the overall functionality of the camera is second to none. The amount that you can do with this thing is just mind-blowing. Like, even shooting with this for like 2 years, I feel like I didn't really scratch the surface with its potential, and I think that really says something. It really just offers a lot of different options. You can really make it your own camera. You can shoot this in a way that the person shooting one next to you is shooting completely differently. Like, it's almost like speaking two different languages but achieving the same results. I think that's really impressive. I also like that it's a camera that like looks the way it does, but you still have the option to remove the viewfinder and give you like a little bit of a lower angle shot if you're looking for something like that. And it's just not something that you would necessarily expect from a system that looks as it does. I think for those reasons, it's a really great buy. Again, they are incredibly affordable still, and that surprises me because it is a legitimately professional camera. I've shot a wedding with this thing and it worked out beautifully. I've done many road trips with this camera. I think it's great for that. It's a great passenger seat camera. It's big, it's bulky, but it's easy and fast to use. And I also think that the focus guides are super helpful if you're shooting with older manual focus lenses, as well as the autofocus is relatively adequate for the time. Sad to see it go, but I'm hoping that, again, someone can get some better use out of it. And this is one of the first cameras that I really enjoyed that I'm actually selling. As I'm kind of crimping down my collection, there are going to be a number of these videos where I'm kind of walking through the camera itself, why I liked it, how long I used it for, and more importantly, why I'm selling it. And this is the first one of those because this is one of the more notable ones I think I'm selling in this round. It's a personal camera of mine, and now it is not. Did it end up being a good investment? We'll see how much it sells for. That being said, it was a great camera while I had it, and I look forward to maybe using one again in the future. But until then, I might try to pick up an F5 and maybe try to flip the same deal and end up making no money. So we'll see. But for now, that is all. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one.